In a PLC, teachers get to equity for their students through the three big ideas. For the purposes of this video, we are going to dive into the idea of collaboration. How do we create highly effective teams that get better together for their students? Effective collaboration is the result of intentional moves made by participants and leaders. As we think about effective collaboration, I want you to remember a meeting that you have been part of recently that was a non-example of effective collaboration. Maybe there were no clear purposes. You didn't feel heard, or it wasn't clear what decision was being made. If you are looking for a smile, you can use our example from the movie Inside Out, linked in Google Classroom, called Just Like Joy. First of all, we want to make a distinction between a group and a team. Take Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, for example. Tiger Woods is part of a group of people playing golf. He might talk about the sport with his foursome. They might swap tips about putters or the course, but how well he does in the game is dependent on him. Michael Jordan, on the other hand, even with all of his own abilities, worked as part of a team that had a common goal, winning the championship. Think about this in our frame of reference, a school. Some teachers swap ideas, talk about and share ideas for student learning, while others share common goals and rely on each other to reach those goals. Using John Hattie's meta-analysis criteria, anything over a 0.4 effect size is in the zone of desired effects. In 2016, John Hattie and his team named collective teacher efficacy as the #1 influence related to student achievement with an effect size of 1.57. This is the belief that we, as a team, can make an impact on the students we serve. The belief that together, we are better. So if we believe that we are a team and that we can make a difference in the lives of our students, it is up to all of us to build the culture to do so. We have found these 5 keys that are helpful to supporting successful meetings and collaboration. We will start with focus. One of the major shifts schools go through when becoming a PLC is moving from teaching to a focus on learning. We can ask ourselves, are our meetings purposeful? Will the products of our work result in student learning? In the PLC process, the 4 critical questions drive the work of a collaborative team. The 4 critical questions are, what do we want all students to learn? How will we know when they have learned it? How will we respond when some students do not learn? And how will we respond when some students already know it? Teams are continuously working to answer these questions as they themselves learn about teaching and learning. The next key is structure. Structure refers to the schedule, the goals, the norm, and the agendas a team uses to do their work. Process. What process is being used to engage members, encourage participation, promote ownership of the work, and maintain focus? Processes are more than just a list of things we need to talk about. It is how we will talk about them. For example, protocols. Protocols can feel unnatural, and that is exactly why we need them. Protocols help us have the conversations we are not used to having and can take us to different outcomes than we may have gotten without them. Roles. Typical roles include facilitator, timekeeper, and process observer. What roles you have are less important than whether or not you are clear on who is doing what. The last P is relationships. It is no secret that relationships are a key ingredient to successful collaboration. Are staff relationships being attended to? Do we understand each other's communication style, or are we living our collective commitments? We generally say that there are these 2 types of relationships, congenial and collegial. Congenial is people who are cordial and considerate. Friday morning breakfast club is an example of this. It is not that this is bad or are not important in building collegial relationships. We just can't stop at congenial if we want to have the greatest impact on student learning. Putting these 5 keys in a matrix illustrates what happens when one key is missing. For example, if we define our focus, name who will do what, lean into our collegial conversations, and think about how we will have conversations, but don't provide the structure or the time for that to happen, The result could be chaos when teams tried to figure out when to have these conversations. Here are some important takeaways. Take out the assumption that we know how to collaborate. Deliberate collaboration is not the same as parallel planning. And highly productive teams can be made if we all work together towards that goal. Now that we know more about what are some keys to successful collaboration, we can see many ways to make this scene from inside out so much more collaborative, as well as the non-examples you imagined. Now it's your turn. Use the 5 keys to successful collaboration to think about the team meetings in your school. What are some things that we do really well? And where are some opportunities for growth?